I'm going to show you a match played between Serral and Special. It's semifinals best of 5 on Blackpink LAE map. 2018 WCS Leipzig tournament. Here you can see more information about it. It's the first of 4 events of 2018 WCS circuit. It's on European server. It's played offline. The players will be playing on this map right here. If you're not familiar with it, you can familiarize with it a little bit by looking at its picture here. And the tournament prize for the first place is $20,000, second place $10,000, and third, fourth places is $6,500 each. You can further take a look at notable participants. Group stage 3, out of which brackets have been created here, and I'll be showing you this match right there. You can take a look at Serral's trip here. Serral has, without a doubt, decisively won his previous matches with 0 losses, and Special did made the win for himself. Now, the current result is 2-0 for the Serral, so Serral in the first 2 matches has won. You can go back through the videos and take a look at those. Here I'm going to show you some statistics about the race, region, and the countries right here. Some map statistics also. Furthermore, 2018 WCS Leipzig is from a group of tournaments that make up Starcraft World Championship Series, and this series consists of events that are shown in this table right here, and 3 GSL group leagues, Korea events, circuit events, WCS global events. You can take a look at castings at AndYouLeftTheGame YouTube channel. You can find the channel by typing AndYouLeftTheGame in the YouTube search bar, and you'll get either one of the 2 channels that you have to select on that they are very similar. One of them is AndYouLeftTheGame without blank spaces in it. So if you see this channel right here, just click on it and you'll be straight in AndYouLeftTheGame. While in other instance you may get 2 channels or only 1 channel that has AndYouLeftTheGame with blank spaces in it. Then click on it, hover on to the right side right here and select it. Select featured channels AndYouLeftTheGame here, and you will be able to be in the channel itself. Here's a visual representation of Starcraft World Championship Series Global Finals. 500,000 for the global finals themselves. 8 players from Korea, 8 players from the circuit. Korea has 3 GSL leagues, 2 super tournaments. The circuit has 4 circuits: Leipzig, Austin, Valencia, Montreal. 4 challengers, each 10,000 per circuit region. Residency locked. Global IEM Katowice, $250,000. GSL versus the world all-star event. Now that we know about the event and the tournament, which match we're watching, let's go to the players. The first player is Serral. He's a Zerg player and he plays very well. So far in the tournament he was undefeated in the first 2 matches during the brackets. He made a whooping $130,000 cash out from playing at various StarCraft 2 tournaments. Here you can stop the video, go back, read about him, read about his trivias. You can also go to the interviews on this website and learn more about him. Check Google for interviews online. Here you can see achievements. So he has many achievements in premier tournaments that paid him quite a bit, 30,000. Major tournaments, 18,000 and counting. And there are quite a few minor tournaments too, so certainly this player is very, very experienced at playing offline games and online games in tournaments. His opponent is a Terran player, Special. He goes by quite a few nicknames out there. You'll see quite a lot of information about him being called Major. Now there's a lot of information here, and you could stop the video and take a look. As you can see, most of this information is derived with the nickname Major. That's who he used to be, and will stay in history there. He dates back quite a long time, and here you can see achievements, premier tournaments, major tournaments, minor tournaments, and premier team leagues. You can further move south and watch some of the videos out there, interviews that date back to 2011, and check out the gallery of pictures where you can familiarize with the way it looks. And now let's go on to the third match, Blackpink LE, and let's take a look at it from Special's perspective here. Special moves up his command center to all of the hotkeys. Let's take a look at the hotkeys here. So the first one is this. As you can see, 0 has been changed, 9, 8 for caps lock, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Everything seems to be just fine besides the 8th and the 0, which were changed to allow more keys. And now keep that in mind when you watch this, because you may as well want to do the same. He's certainly considered to be one of the best StarCraft 2 Terran players so far, no doubts about it. In 2018 he moved on to semifinals. That certainly makes him a professional. He moves on with a gas geyser, extractor there, or a refinery, and he will start with a wall off in his main base. It looks like this time Special will be a little bit more careful than the last time. I won't be walling himself off on the second base. This is another large map. However, the first match that we saw on the large map was pretty much mostly dominated by the Zerg player. So just maybe here we will see something truly new. And he moves on with the second gas. He's not going for a super quick command center. It looks like this time he's either going for a cheesy play or no. It seems that the second command center has been started, and those 4 lings will not be able to fight that Reaper effectively without the speed. However, on creep, these lings are certainly very, very fast. He moved around here and found out that there is a second base a third base, I mean, already set up, so super early 2-minute third base from Serral. If only Special would have known that and went for a super cheese marine push, he would have got this victory very early on. In any case, the Queen will be a perfect counter against the Reaper here.
Command center upgrade complete.
And there's not much action going on now. The Reaper won't be moving in. However, finally the first Hellions have been built. And these Hellions are going to rip apart Zerglings with ease. However, the Queens are on the lookout. I don't think that the Hellions would do well against the Queens. It seems that Serral is sacrificing one of its overlords to learn additional information, and he already sees that the Terran starting with a regular, very nice build with many possible ways forward. So he simply built himself barracks, factory, starport, which are 3 key buildings, and these certainly unlock quite a few pathways. He can focus on mechanized units, he can focus on bio units, whatever he chooses to build. Differently than Zerg, Terran actually has to build everything, while Zerg does not have to build that many buildings, really, which is one of the defining features of these races that separate them pretty much. Zerg is the only race that doesn't really have to build that many buildings. For example, 8 gateways or 8 barracks, 3 factories, 2 starports. No, you just need some key buildings there. It looks like this roach attack has proved to be a complete and absolute disaster for the Zerg player, because those Hellions there, supported by supply depots, had absolutely no problem dealing enough damage and not take that much damage themselves. In here, the Hellions won't be fighting these 2 queens, however, the Zerglings need to keep away from those Hellions, otherwise it's going to be really bad really quickly. One cloaked bench is moving into the Zerg area there, and the Terran is expanding super effectively here. More Hellions are in production so far. We can see that the Zerg has an overseer. 2 benches have got together, and we're seeing these lings here. They're going to be massacred with all those Hellions there. However, that didn't really happen here. Yeah, more reinforcements came, so far so good. Hellions still thrive over Zerglings, and those benches they did a lot of damage to the queens. However, losing those benches is certainly very hurtful for the Terran player, because instead of harassing the lines, they just died to a bunch of queens. And queens are super tanky, shouldn't be fighting Hellions by the Terran. In any case, as you could see, the Terran just wasn't able to micro that the Banshee while the battle was going on. And that's the thing about StarCraft 2, is that in order for somebody to do this right, they have to be in 2 places at the same time. if it's possible. Now these Hellions ran through all of these troops here and will kill 6 probes before dying, 6 drones, and the Terran will counter this with another expansion. It looks like this time by 8 minutes the Zerg is not the one expanding here, but the Terran. In any case, the Terran is making a lot more money than the Zerg and is expanding as if he is the Zerg, if you know what I mean. That is a lot of pressure. Here I could say that there's at least 5 bases. Yeah, there's at least 5 bases currently for the Zerg, but these Hellions are certainly going to eradicate that drone line, killing 9 drones. So it's certainly very good kill. When counting drone kills, you should also include the price of the drone and the minerals that they would have collected otherwise. So killing 10 drones is not about 500 resources, it's about maybe extra 500 resources. Here the Hellions took away 17 drones. It looks like Special has recovered here, and Serral just does not have enough firepower to deal with this. Not only that, Serral was microing way too much. Look at that army. He does not have an army, and while the Serral does not have an army, the Terran player is able to use these Hellion hit squads and consistently attack. Even with 81 workers, the Zerg player cannot outproduce the Terran. However, now it looks like they finally got together. I kinda suspect that those continuous drops from the space into the mineral lines by the Terran are giving him a lot more resources. And I'm talking about those extra harvesters called mules that the command center can drop with an orbital command upgrade. In any case, it looks like this is a very mech army. He relies heavily on Hellbats and takes absolutely zero anti-air for the Terran player. Besides a bunch of ghosts. Obviously these ghosts can snipe away those Ultralisks. And the Zerg decides on the other hand to move on and build himself a bunch of broodlings here. So we'll see how the Hellions and tanks are going to fight against this army of Hydralisk, Roaches and Broodlings. Obviously the Terran needs to somehow lure into attacking his tank lines. Besides that, look at those command centers. There's already a 6 base set up by 11 minutes. Could you believe that? It's 11 minutes and 5 bases are fully mining with 7 to 8 workers. 6 bases ready and Zerg is nowhere to be seen. And it looks like this Terran player's choice of playing mech is working very well, because the Serral is not going for Ling Baneling play, he's going for Roach Hydralisk Broodlord play, which so far isn't really working. Obviously he is denying Serral's ability to expand in the north, but I have no doubts that Serral is expanding in the south. Now if you look more closely at the bases, you'll notice that a 7th command center has been built. It looks like this is a sort of a Terran on steroids when it comes to expansions, and that's probably due to the fact that the Terran was consistently making a lot more money than the Zerg, and it looks like the mech play here has proved to be exactly what the Terran needed in the first place. So it's a really nice comeback after that Nidus Worm attack, and after the defeat in the first match. It looks to me that either Zerg is hiding something, or Terran is certainly in control of the map in the north and is suffering whatsoever no attacks in the south. Besides that, I'm not sure if I've ever seen Serral being so passive so far. He's super passive, just continuously being denied the base in the north, and it looks like he got denied the base in the south. I think this is really bad for the Zerg player and really good for the Terran player. Not only that, the Terran moved on only with tanks in the north, as if he would like to get rid of those tanks and choose something else. In the meantime, the Zerg is attacking his 5th base and 6th base with the same squad of roaches, killing a bunch of workers, but he's not really targeting the workers there, he's targeting a turret and moving away. Could you believe that Serral just moved away a squad of Zerglings from the north that could kill all those SUVs in 2 bases and just did nothing, absolutely nothing? This is unbelievable. In any case, the Terran, it looks like he is on the offensive now, here building even more barracks. He's separated his forces into 3 groups here, building more command centers, still denying that northern base here. He has so many liberators that an attack from the Zerg would just be an absolute and complete disaster. So he moves into a base area with his liberators. He sieges up liberation zones and then uses the snipers to snipe away Broodlord's other units. He has a massive squad of snipers here. Nothing helps from the Zerg side. The Zerg actually isn't even committing here, and so far the Terran was in control during the entire game, and with those ghosts or snipers he is going to certainly kill off any hazardous units with that massive sniping ability that the ghost has. And it looks like there's a push in the south, but this push in the south just simply is not that big of a deal, because Special has many more bases set up in the north. That one base in the south isn't that big of a deal. And it looks like both of these players have completely maxed out. The northern side of the map is dominated by the Terran, and the southern side is dominated by the Zerg. The Zerg never committed to attack because the Terran had all those liberators here, and fighting those liberators without the corruptors would be very difficult. Now, it looks like this is some kind of a complete liberator, almost a complete liberator play, and I'm not sure how Zerg is going to try to counter this. So Liberator's tanks, well, a lot of control here. They don't have any forces in the north, and it looks like Serral is once again moving troops there. However, they stopped moving. They can be seen by the radar. Once again, Terran is in control of the area, and the Zerg is not going to commit and sacrifice all those units. However, with the Vipers, he will try to get them in. Zerg tries to create a static defense wall. However, it's unclear just how effective this static defense wall is. Besides, the hidden Zerg units in the north, seen by the radar, are not doing anything. They're not attacking Terran mineral lines whatsoever. And Terran moving in closer and closer with those tanks and liberation zones set up for any counterattack are going to simply eradicate this force held by the Zerg. He's not moving, and the base is down. It looks like looks like the 5th base is no longer in Zerg's hands, and now the Terran should just deal with the 6th base, and then the Zerg won't have any more resources to gain here. If you take a look, Terran resources are down too quite a bit. However, the CV count is at 76. However, the Zerg isn't making that much money either, and all these liberators here, all those liberation zones are doing incredibly high damage here to those Zerg units. Finally, the Vikings came in to get rid of the Broodlords. They shoot from relatively far away there, and the Zerg relies on Hydralisks mostly in this scenario here. Surprisingly enough, the Zerg wasn't building any corruptors, even when he knew that there were massive numbers of liberators. He thought that he could just snipe those liberators with his Vipers and bring them to his army. I guess that's how it works. And guess what? It looks like Zerg has successfully prevailed in this engagement. He picked up most of those troops that Terran had, so the liberators were picked apart by Vipers, shot down by Hydralisks. There was a massive, really interesting battle going on, but it looks like there wasn't a clear winner because the base got rebuilt. However, the 6th base right here will get eradicated. These drones just barely survived. 7 fell down in this engagement. As you can see, if the drones engage in battle quickly enough, they'll certainly get rid of those Hellions. Now the push is coming by the Zerg to the north. The north is undefended, and oh no, look at that. It's all over. The north base has been taken. The 7th base is no more for the Terran. However, the Terran at the same time is harassing Zerg's bases in the south, and this is reducing Zerg income to 1,200. His bottom right base right there probably isn't even mining that well. So 1,300 versus 2,000 resources for the Terran. It looks like the Zerg is in trouble, but the Zerg is mostly maxed out here, and Terran still plays tank liberator play there, with Hellions used to harass and Ghost used to snipe dangerous units such as Vipers. Here a batch of Hydralisks got caught, an easy prey for all those Terrans right here. Those liberation zones have dealt with this very effectively, and now it looks like the special is going to commit on and fight further for these bases in the corner. Obviously these bases are the only ones that are not heavily mined out just yet, so if he can deny those 2 bases here, certainly the Zerg will be making even less resources, and the Terran will just simply be able to outproduce the Zerg in the near future here. However, okay, it seems that the scan has noticed that when Terran Special has launched attack in the south, Serral Zerg has launched an attack in the north, and their both armies are very far away from each other. It seems that the Terran, instead of trying to deal with those bases in the south, will be committing on and will try to reinforce with all those liberation zones, and the Hydralists just simply can't stay in those liberation zones because they'll be wiped out very quickly. A very interesting choice by the Terran here. It requires an enormous amount of micromanagement because all those liberation lines must be set up very quickly. And it seems an invasion is coming into the northern bases held by the Zerg, so the southern bases have been destroyed by the Terran, and now new bases have been set up in the north, and we are seeing another battle here. It looks like Terran is in control of the area because the Zerg just simply cannot move close enough, and he tried, and even with all those clouds, the Liberators are still managed to destroy too much. He thought that after hitting clouds on the tanks, he'll be able to move through. However, there were way too many tanks behind. There were probably like 10 tanks behind the tanks that got hit with the clouds. So when the Hydralists moved closer, they got hit by the tanks behind and Liberator zone attacks. It's too bad. Another push right here. Too many tanks. Way too many tanks. Look at that. That's just an enormous number of tanks. And our opponent there decides to GG out.